Hey everybody, I hope everybody's having a good day today. Today I've got something that I believe is very important. As usual, please forget the noise here, it's very noisy. I have something that I believe is very important, it's very significant. Some of you are going to get this and understand it, and some of you are not. If you don't understand it, doesn't mean that you don't have the Holy Spirit or anything like that. It just means that this isn't the way God speaks to you. But there's a certain group out there that God speaks to this way. And for those of you, you're going to understand this. You all know what synchronicity is. It's a series of events, that don't seem connected, but in a way they are. And I've had a series of events happen in the past few days. It's the reason I haven't made any more videos on the subjects that I was talking about before. I hope to get back to those soon, but this takes precedence. For the past few days, I've had this, and Lynn has had it too, just felt out of place. We all feel out of place, like you don't belong, but it's just really been intense lately. And seems like there's something missing. And the other night, I told Lynn, just out of the blue, I said, I feel like a stranger or an alien in a foreign land. And I wasn't speaking about being here in the Philippines, which I am definitely a stranger in a foreign land here. But I told her that, and she said, I feel the same way. And I don't know if it was that night or the next night, but I was laying down, and it normally takes me a while to go to sleep. But for some reason, I just fell out very fast. And when I did, I had an intense dream, or like vision. And I remember seeing this being, and I could see multiple legs and arms, and it was like spinning and breaking apart. And all these legs and arms and things were breaking off of this one body, this being. It's like it was fractaling off. And it was beautiful colors, and there was a song that I could hear along with it. And I woke up, and as soon as I woke up, I was trying to, make sure, don't forget this. And it's like that dimmer switch just started going. I couldn't remember it, and I could not see the face of this being, this divine being that I saw. The next day, or today, I had a friend of mine on Facebook, and by the way, this may take 2 videos. A friend of mine named Leo sent me a message, and he said that he had a dream, and that there was a being or an angel that was sending him a message, but its face was blurred out. He couldn't see his face, and he was wondering if I knew why. And I said, I don't know, brother. Later on in the day, it came to me because I remembered my dream. But so just keep that in mind about Leo's dream, okay? Because all this stuff ties together. In the book of Exodus, in chapter 18, Moses' father-in-law comes to him with his wife and his 2 sons, and he's telling him how proud he is of Moses, and how his God is an amazing God. He took them out of Egypt and all that. And Moses' son is named Gershom, and in Hebrew that means exiled, an alien, or a Baal. And his other son, Eliezer, I know I'm not saying this right, means my God is help. And Gershom's name is in Exodus 18, it says, because his name was Gershom because you are a foreigner or an alien in a foreign land. And I thought, wow, I started getting the goosebumps because I I was just led to go to Exodus, and Exodus is exit, leaving. And I was led to go to that because I was thinking of the number 72. And the reason I was thinking of the number 72 is because Moses' father-in-law advised him that he needed to get some help. He couldn't handle the load all by himself. So Moses went before God, and God told him to appoint 70 elders, to be judges. Well, if you count Moses and Aaron, that makes 72. Okay, and 7 and 2 is 9. So just remember this. I thought it was pretty wild that Gershom's name is what I was telling Lynn, and then the other brother's name means my God is help, which is that's us. Our God is help. He's helped us. Anyway, I don't want to go from there. I've got all this wrote down so I don't forget. But what I've been saying all along is this reality is not our home, and I think it's time to exodus or exit. If you remember, I told you about Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, and he had appointed the 70 elders, and with Aaron and Moses combined, that's 72. Now the name of God, the unspeakable name of God, the 4-letter word in Hebrew, which is the Tetragrammaton, the Hebrew language is a mathematical language. And so every letter has a numerical value, and then you combine those values together and you get a total. Each one of the letters, first letter is 40, second is 15, third is 12, and the fourth is 5. And you combine those together, it gives you 72, okay? Now, if you'll remember, I did a video, my second video I ever did, a dream of the 144,000. If you'll go to the book of Luke, chapter 10, in older manuscripts, the writings say that Jesus sent out 72 disciples. In some of the other manuscripts, it says 70. But it doesn't matter either way, because if Jesus sent out 70, then you've got to count Jesus along with Christ, the Holy Spirit. So that's 72. Or if he sent out 72, it's like he sent out 72, but they were appointed, anointed to go out. So, and for some of you guys that don't remember, 72 times 2 equals 144. If you take 1 plus 4 plus 4, it equals 9. And if you add 9 to 144, it gives you 153. And if you remember the miraculous fish catch in John chapter 21, verse 11, where they caught 153 large fish. Also in Revelations 7 and chapter 7 and chapter 14, there's 144,000. 144,000 divided by 2 is 72,000. It's always going back to the 72, or 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay? Now, talk a little bit about fractals. Fractals is a mathematical thing. I won't get into detail about it, but it's just patterns repeating themselves, but just going down in smaller, or it could go smaller, it could go larger, but it's just patterns. So, we who are strangers or aliens in a foreign land, I believe, are part of a fractal. If you have the heart and the mind of Christ, and a new mind and a new heart, that means a part of God is in you. Okay? And if you'll remember, the 70 that Moses appointed were to be judges, and I don't think people are going to be judging people by their misdeeds. I think people will be judged by their heart. And if you remember here lately, I did a video on Zacchaeus, and Zacchaeus' name means pure heart, or innocent. And if you'll remember, David was chosen because of his heart. He had a pure heart. And David was the 8th son. And if you'll remember, whenever he fought Goliath, he couldn't wear the armor. He wasn't used to it. He was an 8. He needed to be a 9. If you remember, he got 5 stones, but he only used 1. 8 and 1 is 9. And he was able to take out Goliath. But he couldn't wear the armor, the full armor of God, which is the Spirit of God, which is your armor. And but if you'll remember, he was an 8. He was the 8th son, and he needed to be a 9. If you have 9 times 8, that's 72. 7 plus 2 equals 9, okay? It always goes back to the 9. Now, I want to go back to my friend Leo that sent me the message. His name is Leo. That's a lion, the tribe of Judah, okay? He could not see the face of the being because the reason he couldn't see the face and the reason I couldn't see the face is because it was his face. It was my face. It was all of ours faces, because we're all a piece of God. We're all a part of God. Just like in my vision, with all the pieces, the arms and the legs that were breaking away from the divine being, from the Tetragrammaton, the 72, and it fractals, it grows and grows and grows. And they had a beautiful song that was playing with it, and it's the song of the 144,000. This place is held together by frequency. We know that, everybody knows that. And the frequency is out of balance. Some of you guys, if you've done your research, I'm getting close to time to have to shut off. If you've done your research, you know that after World War II, Operation Paperclip, the Nazis came over here. They had everything set at 440 hertz, the radios, television, and all that, and they've done the same here. The natural standard is 432. 440 is 8, needs to be a 9. 432 is 9. 432 makes 9. Or you could look at 4 and 3 is 7, and 2, 72. 7 plus 2 is 9. This stuff is amazing how it ties together. A lot of us have been having dreams of a second son. I've had several about a second son. I believe that when the second son appears, the frequency will change. And when that happens, I'll go back one more. 440, whenever 440 is working everything, it puts people in a state of irritability, and it also, whenever you're watching a television program or whatever, it puts you in like a trance-like state. You always get sleepy when you watch a movie. It puts you in a state where you're susceptible to suggestion. Okay? So, but I believe that whenever the second son appears, that the frequency will change, and when that happens, we will change, like dynamics. If you've seen the salt crystals, that are like sand, and they change frequencies, and whenever they change frequencies, they make beautiful patterns. And if you'll look at the frequency of 440 compared to the 432 is beautiful, the 440 is just horrible and distorted. But I believe us and those with a pure heart will vibrate on a different frequency, and we will be here. We will vibrate on a different frequency. We will be here, and all the dark hearts, the dark souls, will disappear. We occupy the same space, but ours is perfect. I don't believe that they'll be destroyed. I believe they're going to experience the outer darkness, and they will desire to know God. But I believe we're going to be occupying the same space, but place, but different dimensions. It's like they won't be able to see us, we won't be able to see them, but our place will be perfect. We are aliens here. This is not our dimension, not our frequency. This is not our home. I got it all done in one. So I was trying to. Anyway, this stuff amazes me. This stuff is not an accident. This is synchronicities and things, they all happen. And if you'll just wait and be patient, God will tell you a story. I love you all. God bless.